Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for Friday, October 8, and we'll look at the bearish count here, which is, well, I suppose it is a bearish count, but it's actually a bullish corrective pattern. And we'll also look at the more bullish pattern where we just keep continuing in this trend to the upside here. This is a 2-day chart, nothing special about that, but we can see that we've got increased volume moving to the upside here in these last 3 bars here, 1, 2, 3, even though they're 2 days each. The current move down. I think the Bitcoin goes from Sunday to Sunday, doesn't it? I have to double check on that. Yeah, so that's sort of it. I mean, this line through here, which we talked about yesterday, which is, let's just get, oh, okay, anyway, it's the 78.6, so from the top here to the bottom here, it's a 78.6, and it kind of clips into the tops here quite sort of nicely, so that would be the resistance area in that space. So 57, I think anywhere from 57, 300 to 500 in there, but we can nail that down a little bit later. This move from B to C here, if this is an A wave and a B wave and a C wave here, a C wave would have 5 waves in it. So we'd still be looking for a wave 4 here and a wave 5 to finish that off there, and that 57, 500 area, whatever that 78.6 is at that point, that would be the 5 waves to there. If you're looking at this in a more complicated correction as a WXY, well then that could be the top there, because you're only looking at an A and a B and a C wave to the top there. So there's a couple of ways you could look at it, but because the A wave's got 5 waves in it, it's unlikely that we've got WXY in this particular case. So the other point I want to make here too is that we have just burned right through the 50,000 and we haven't really come back and tested it either, you know. So it's a little bit like this one over here, when we sort of burned straight through it, then came back and tested it and then made our way to the upside. So it's possible that it can just, you know, continue to the upside, but naturally I'll just expect it to run out of steam and drop back. Now, in terms of dropping back, that would obviously, you know, a move back under the 50,000 here would certainly create the bearish top at that particular point in time. Otherwise, on the bullish side, we'd be looking for 5 waves up through here. So yeah, let's just see if it hangs in up there, you know, and what it does. So on the I did have a bearish count there for that, didn't I? But it doesn't really matter. Let's just go to the bullish count anyway. And the bullish count is simply with a wave 3 over here, as an A and a B and a C here. You can put wave 4 over here if you like as well, but I can also count 5 waves up in this move here without any problems whatsoever. An A and a B and a C wave there, that's pretty stock standard with that situation. And then we have this move up through here. So I was thinking just naturally that if this is all of wave 1 here and wave 2 here, well then wave 3 up here, wave 3 needs to be longer than wave 1. So the fib extension for that would also put the 1618 up there as well in that space. I think we looked at that yesterday, didn't we? So we take the length of wave 1 here, we could move that to the lower end of wave 2 here. That'll give us 161 for that wave 3 there. It's okay to put targets there, but you know, I mean, to have the right look and feel, the right perspective, I don't know. Yeah, but you'd want wave 3 to be longer than wave 1, so that's kind of okay there. We've been counting this up as impulsive. I can see that there's different ways that we could count it impulsive as well. I think one of the main things that we're kind of looking at here, let's just imagine for a moment that we do get 5 waves up here. Then it could be the top of the B wave, you know, that that if we get 5 waves up here, it could be the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave to that point. The C wave is a little bit short compared to this move here. It's probably 61.8% of the length of wave 1 or something of that nature. But that line through here, that 57,500 looks pretty good. That's the 78.6, so it could end there. So all in all, just on that bearish side of pattern, we just need to be a little bit mindful that that's where that wave B can be sitting there. So yeah, we can't ignore that. We need to look at both sides of the coin and then look at what we're doing at that from that point, which has got the most weight. But I just normally go for trade setups. That's my thing. So. Okay, so now we need to go in and have a bit of a look at this. So let's just go do that. The 4-hour chart. So we've got our wave 1 over here and an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here. And we've looked at this as wave 1 here. And an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here. You could also look at this if this was a corrective move up here. You could also look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, and you'll need to call that the top there. But I don't think that's the case. It doesn't look like... let me just clean this up a little bit. We'll just go in there a little bit further. Yeah, possibly, but... anyway, we'll get to that. But yeah, so we've got our B wave up here. That would be the bigger B wave, because look at that as the A, the B, and the C wave, but we'd need to have that sitting over on this one over here for that. Sorry, I messed that up yesterday. So moving that to there. That's 78.6 takes us to, let's just, it doesn't really matter at this point. Let's just continue on here for a moment. Let's just focus on the bullish side. So yeah, I think this count here is quite okay at this point. We could look at the 38.2% retracement level, which brings us back down to the 50 here. So that's possible. But I have to say, and we'll keep that in mind as we've done yesterday, but when we've moved above the 50 here, and then we've moved above the 53, and then we're working with the 55, the most that I would sort of expect this to do is come back down and test the 53 before moving higher at that point. So it's possible that this wave 4 is already in play at that point. I wouldn't really expect it to come back to that point, but we should just acknowledge that that's the 38.2% retracement level. And the other thing that I mentioned as well, it's not like we've actually really tested this here. Yes, I know that we've done all this over here with it, and there's probably no need to spend a lot of time here, but we didn't really get any retest here at all. But yeah, maybe that's sufficient over here for all of this. Yeah, but in a nutshell, we're looking from wave 2 here as 1 and 2 here. You could probably configure this a little bit differently as well in all of this as well. But we don't need to go there just yet. What I'm looking for is the absolute minimum 5-wave structure to the upside, because as soon as I get that, then I know that we will be going much higher at that point. So I just work to the minimums, and the minimum would be with wave 1 here and 2 here, and then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the 3rd wave, 4th wave and 5th wave. So all we really need to see here is one more sort of top to come into play through here. Will it reach the 60? Will it have problems at that 50? Was it 50? Was it 55? Now it's got me thinking about it again here. 57. Let's just get a better grip on this, shall we? So 57,500, 57,500. $57,500. So that takes us where's that line there? That's 56, 57, 57. Well, right in the middle of group 2 there. So just there. So we'll just bring that down to there because that just makes sense for the time being, you know. I mean, obviously 60 is the biggest number, and also like 62, but we won't go there just yet. So yeah, I mean, can we have this as an A and a B and a C wave up there? Where would that leave us? We'd still need an extra leg after that, wouldn't we? So even if that was the case, I'm just thinking out loud here. So we'd still need to come back down here and then have another move up here. If that was going to be an A and a B wave, then we would need 5 waves up here for that. Doesn't really fit very well, I have to say. But I'm just looking at I'm just looking at all the bearish cases here. So that could be a top for the B wave there. At that point, that would be, if we were looking at this number 1 here as an A wave and then a B wave here and then a C wave up here, then that would be the top there of that B wave. Well, a B wave like that, really. So yeah, that's that at that point. Now, in both cases, being at the top here, we're going to see, you know, a pullback of some degree anyway. We may not actually either, because it could still just continue to climb. I can see how it can just, I can see how this structure can build on itself and just keep moving up. But I always look for the conservative side of things. So once we get to this 5th wave here, then we can, and it may go higher, it may go to the 60 or whatever. We just track those 5 waves up, and then we'll be looking for an ABC pattern at that point. And then we'll either go further up at that point, or we'll come down for a C wave further down here, and then that would be part of that bearish pattern at that point. I can understand the bearish pattern to a point because we're on like low volume with all of this, but we've been on low volume. If we go back to maybe a weekly chart, we haven't been there for a while. Oh no, not that I trust the volume on this particular platform anyway, but just don't trust the volume there. So I'm just going to go to over here. I'm just going to go to Bitcoin here, and can we go to a weekly or monthly here somewhere? Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, it's 2 different stories. You can't trust those market makers, mate. So you can see that, well, you can see that there's been plenty of volume over here. But still, and then we've got all this diminishing volume. So it tells me that whatever's happening here, really the low volume is telling us that we're in, you know, a bullish corrective move. There's not a lot of sellers there, but all corrections are on lower volume. You can look at these guys here. That's all diminishing volume. Down here is all diminishing volume. So things like triangles and all that, they're all corrections on lower volume. If they're on increasing volume, well, then there'll be a trend. So we're not, you know, whatever happens here, whatever happens, if we get, you know, if we do get a move down through here, it'll just be corrective, you know, whatever happens in all of that, this area here, because we're on sort of low volume. There's no increased volume to the downside here for this. I mean, even this red bar here on this big move down through here, you know, it closed up off its low on that monthly, so a lot of that volume could be, you know, put to that. But we also have seen too, we also have seen with Bitcoin the move up here as wave one here on lower volume. I've seen that, you know, it's quite normal for wave one to move up on low volume. It just means that there's no sellers there, and yeah, that sort of thing. So yeah, the volume thing is not going to be very sort of helpful in this instance. But yeah, just checking around, you know, just looking around. So let's just go back to that 4-hour chart for a moment. I mean, as you know, I'm quite bullish. The only thing that sort of bothers me with the whole thing is we just didn't really have a good move in around this level here. But also too, I think that you know, we didn't have a good setup at the 50 here. We didn't have a good setup at the 53, so that bothers me. But however, if we can get a good setup on the 50, if the 55 becomes the support here, then I don't really see any reason to be sort of bearish after that. Let's just go to the hourly chart here. Sorry for taking so long, just enjoying myself. Yeah, the same count here from 2, we got 1 and 2 here. And 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for third, fourth, fifth, we counted up there. Yeah, let's just see how that plays out. So it can come back down. It can go down for 1 and back for 2 and 3, 4 and 5 here for this. And don't forget that this wave 4 here, the 38.2% retracement level, is down here somewhere for that. So we'll just see how that goes. If this moves back up here and finds support on top of the 50 here, then we won't be coming back at that point. You could look at this as down for 1, back for 2, down for 3, back for 4, and down for 5. But wave 4 overlaps wave 1 here. So it doesn't really give you an impulse wave to the downside. But we have seen wave 4 overlap wave 1 before. It's not, you know, it's nothing new. But that's where that is. Let's just have a look at Ethereum's much the same as well. Bitcoin is leading as such, but here we've got, just on the hourly chart, we've got 1 here, an A and a B and a C for wave 2. Probably have to change that. We could change it in a few different ways. We could even put that wave 1 here and that wave 2 there. Still doesn't make any difference with the count, do you know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter. Wave, because I've got to tie it into Bitcoin as well, the same thing, especially when they're moving together. So 1 and 3 and 4 here. So I've counted this very conservatively here in terms of 1 and 2 here, and well, all of 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, and then 3 and 4. And yes, I know there's overlap. And then 5 struggling along here. So it's probably the wrong count, and we probably need to look at this as also 1 and 2 in here as well. But that's obviously going to take us higher at that point. I just wanted to be conservative. Yeah, and just watch that play out a little bit, but just to let you know that that's there. Obviously the 500 here, it was resistance, wasn't it? And now, because it's tested here, it's on top, tested, and then made new highs above here. So that's what I would call tested support. Now it's going into the next level here, which is group 2. So this is the midpoint. So between 3 and 4 here, the Fibonacci numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8 here. And then with 8, we put in 65 and 72. And they play out, always seem to play out quite nicely. But once, or if, this could drop from here, of course, but if it finds support within group 2, then it's going to climb itself, and it'll just keep pushing up higher at that point. So anyway, there's no reason to be short at this point in time, that's for sure. I mean, obviously, if you asked a 5-year-old and asked them which way the trend was going, they would be going, it's going up. So we'll stay with the 5-year-olds on this one. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.